So hi guys, welcome to Oliveboard. My name is Lakshmi and in this session we are going to talk about basics of economy. So we are just going to start. Please first confirm.
So hi guys, welcome to Oliveboard. My name is Lakshmi and in this session we are going to talk about...
Sorry. Yeah. Now I think everything is sorted. So let's begin. In this particular session, so take it as the first session of your batch. The first session where we are going to start with the topics. We'll start with the very basic so that at least you get to know what are various topics or how does this economy and all these things they actually started. So very basic. What is the difference between economics and what is the difference between the economy and social issues that is there in your syllabus? So what is the difference? So when I say economy, and when I say economics, what is the difference? Whenever I mean that we are studying a portion of a syllabus where we are going to talk about how the resources are to be allocated to get the maximum benefit out of them, or how can a resource be utilized to attain the maximum profit, to attain the maximum satisfaction level, that is what I will study as a subject in economics. So this is nothing but a subject that we can study. When I say economy, generally we talk about Indian economy, we talk about French economy. So it is when I apply this economics principle on some resource efficiency within a nation. When I'm talking about a nation's perspective, then I'm studying about economy, Indian economy, French economy, British economy, US economy. So that is their economy. Good afternoon. Now let's see what is economics and what are we going to study in economics. So economics is nothing but the study of how humans work together to convert whatever resources they have. That is the limited resources. I hope you know that land as a resource is limited. India just has 2% of the world's land. We will not be able to increase the the land as a resource with us. We will not be able to increase it. So land being a resource is limited, and the needs and the wants, whatever we have, this portion is unlimited. What we have to do is, the unlimited needs and wants, we are going to use that unlimitedness in this, we actually want to use the limited resources that we have to fulfill or to maximize the satisfaction level of our unlimited needs, of our unlimited wants. That is where economics will come into play. So how we need to distribute whatever resources we have, this is what we study in economics. Major assumption, resources are limited. I feel this is not an assumption, but this is true. As I have told you, land, only approximately 2% of world's land is with India. So that is limited, we know. Next thing, but needs and desires are unlimited. We know we as a human being, we have unlimited needs, we have unlimited desires. Once we get LED, we want something next. Once we get BMW, we need a helicopter. So that's how our desires are. What is the challenge? The challenge is distribution. What is the challenge? The challenge remains distribution. Within the limited resources that we have, we need to distribute. And if I talk about India's context, we have roughly 17 to 18% of world's population living across this 2% of the world's land. So you might be thinking this is highly impossible, but that is where the task of economics come into play. That is where we try to differentiate or we try to divide whatever resources we have. Pretty basic, let's start ahead. Now let's talk about branch of economics. But before moving ahead, a very important term let's talk about is opportunity cost. How many of you have heard this term opportunity cost? Can you please explain me what is opportunity cost, if at all you know what is this? What is opportunity cost? Good afternoon, good afternoon. What is opportunity cost? Let's say I ask you, I gave you rupees 100. I ask you either you can buy a book or you can buy a pizza or you can go for a movie. But you can only choose one because you have limited resources, but you have to pick one. In that case, some of you will be picking movie, some of you might be picking pizza, and some of you might be picking book as well. But then, one thing that you are picking over the other, that is what we say opportunity cost. Because if you are picking book and you are leaving pizza and movie, one thing is clear. You are leaving another things for that book. So that is what? That is opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is the value of best alternative that you are picking up, leaving behind the other. So that is the same case with Indian government as well. As I have already told you, we have 2% of land, but 17 to 18% of world's population. We have to distribute resources. Now what all resources do we have to distribute? We have to distribute money for health. We have to distribute money for education. Government also has to look after the defense, the security part. I hope you know that our government spends maximum on this portion. So whatever money the government is spending on this portion, that is coming from a part that could have been spent on either health or education or some other thing. What is that? That is opportunity cost. I hope you are clear with it. Next thing. Microeconomics. When I talk about micro, when I talk about macro, as the word suggests, micro means we are going to look after the nitty-gritties, smaller things, micro level. So when I say micro level, I am going to study individual behavior. I am going to study the behavior of one consumer, of one firm or a family or a household that I say. What is micro? Micro is studying something at a very basic level, at a very starting level. Next thing. When I say macro, macro means studying anything as a whole. When I am going to study whole of Indian economy, when I am going to study whole of global GDP, that is what is macro. Next thing. When I talk about micro, what I need to consider? I need to consider what is the satisfaction level or what is the marginal utility. What is the marginal utility? What is the demand side? What is the price side? What is the supply side? What is production? What is consumption of a particular household? That is what we are calculating in the micro part. But when I move towards the macro part, macro covers certain issues like your national income, the price level that is there prevalent in the economy, the distribution, the employment, the bigger things. So that is what comes under your macro part. So this is your macro, this is your micro. If one thing more we have to say, micro, it talks about individual, household, firms. Macro talks about national income, government, nation, world, and so on and so forth. Then there is one more thing that is between this, meso. Nowadays, mesoeconomics is also what we talk about. What is the difference between micro, meso and macro then? When I say meso, I talk about one firm. To be very simple or to explain it to you in easy way, let's say when I am talking about a firm, I am talking about Maruti, the car manufacturing company. But when I am talking about Maruti and I am studying its dynamics, its GDP or Maruti's income or its consumption, its supply, then what I am studying is microeconomics. But when I'll study automobile sector as a whole, what I am considering is mesoeconomics. Very simple. When I will study whole of the economics or whole of the sector specific study, I take it as a mesoeconomic study. I hope this is clear. Moving ahead. This is the question for you. As we have discussed, what is micro, what is macro? Tell me how many of the above statements which are there, they are correct about the macro issues, macroeconomic issues. What do you think could be the answer? Giving you 30 seconds, please answer. Anyone? Hariram is saying option number A. Cool. What about others? So that means if I am talking about price of tomato, what do you think? Is it micro, meso, macro? What am I studying when I am talking about prices of a tomato? What do you think? When I am talking about the prices of a tomato, let's say a very basic quantity, I am talking about micro. When I am saying unemployment rate in a country, what am I talking about? I am talking about macro. When I am talking about the profit of a company A, I am concerned about the microeconomic issues. The inflation rate of a company, of a country, that's your macro part. The demand, increase in demand, supply, whatever, it also is a part of your micro part only. So now can you tell me how is 3 statements or how is 1 statement or 2 statement correct? What have I asked you is, how many of the following issues are pertaining to your macro part? So that is only 2. I hope this is correct. I hope you are getting it. Any problem up till here, you can ask. If you are okay with the explanation, you can give me a thumbs up so that I can move ahead. Any problem, anything that you want to ask? At least tell me yes or no. If I take into account the demand and supply of one particular thing, the price, demand, anything, I study that in the micro part. When I say macro, I am concerned about the national income, the purchasing power parity, the distribution of jobs, the distribution of various resources, the employment out there, the money that is being there in the economy. So that is the part of your macro. Moving ahead. Now let's see what are the various types of economy. So first and foremost is your market-based economies. Market-based economies, they are free market economies. That means in those kind of economy, your supply and demand will be one that will be deciding what amount of production will be there, what will be the prices of the commodities. So that means no government intervention will be there. Government will not intervene. Market will be free and fair competition would be promoted. Fair, by that I mean more and more competition would be promoted in the market-based economies. That also means they follow laissez-faire policy. Then free exchange of goods and services is permitted. They follow the usual supply and demand model. If the supply will be, if the demand will be more, the business houses will increase the supply also. Why? Because demand is more. This business feel that okay, they will be getting the profit. So therefore, the supply will be increased. Next thing, command-based economies. When I say command, the one thing that should stuck in your mind is somebody is giving the command, and in any economy, who will be giving the command? It will be the government. So that means in an economy when what will be the production level, if that is controlled by your government, that can be either via licenses, that can be either via quota. We say we are, or that particular economy is a command-based economy. Before 1978, China could have been listed under this only. Or even North Korea now, we can list it under this, because over there whatever will be the level of production is decided by the government only. Now because command is the thing that is prevalent over here, competition will not be there. They will discourage competition because they need no competition over there. Everything that is being produced, it is by the government or by the license which is being issued by the government only. So that kind of strictness is there. Next thing is your mixed economies. When I say mixed, it means that your market based, your command based, there is a synergy which is there. That means some level of laissez-faire policy is being followed, free market is being followed. The other is command based as well. Like if I talk about India's internal security or the defense manufacturing or the railways, even now to a little portion of your railways is also privatized, but then government cannot let go this railways altogether. Government cannot let go the defense and its manufacturing sector altogether. So some amount of control, regulatory control will always be there on certain sectors in the economy. You can also take an example of atomic energy sector. In atomic energy, if I say, it's very important for our internal security that government should have complete control over at least this sector. Reason? The materials that are being used, the raw materials that are being used in this industry can be used for other terrorist activities. So that's why, be it your railways, be it your defense, be it your atomic energy, certain sectors in India, they are specifically controlled by your government. The rest means, be it your hotel business, be it your tourism, other sector, government has actually not controlled it that much. Yes, regulations are there, but then it is primarily on the basis of supply and demand dynamics. That also means government is not intervening much in that. Even if government is looking into that, it's just for the welfare of the people who are employed in that, or if else the welfare of the business houses. So that means limited government intervention will be there. In your command based, it's the maximum government intervention out there, but over here, it's the limited intervention. So that means economic freedom is there. Governments interfere in the economic activities and achieve the social aims. Like in India, in the Indian government, yes, it intervenes in the education sector, it intervenes in the social sector like your health as well. But for what? Just for one thing, that is for social aim achievement. That's it, for the welfare approach. I hope this is clear. Any problem? Now, can you give me an example of a market-based economy? Any country that comes to your mind whenever I say laissez-faire policy or a free market out there? Can you just tell me one example to it? Next thing, there is one more type of economy which is also a command-based, but that's on the basis of socialist pattern. Or you can say that is a paternalist economy. That means in such kind of socialist economy like India was before the LPG policies and all, just after independence, we were socialist, we followed socialist pattern. Why? Because Jawaharlal Nehru ji, he was much inspired by the USSR's approach of forming policies. So in that case, we resorted to the socialist pattern. Now, what is the socialist pattern of economy? It means that government will be the one who will be commanding. But in the socialist pattern, government is commanding because it wants better welfare of the people. It is not commanding the way North Korea is doing. So it is commanding the way that it can get or it can eliminate inequality. It can protect the indigenous industries out there in India. So that's where socialist pattern comes into play. I hope this is clear. Yes, UK, US, this can be an example. Now let's see how are the economy being classified. So your economy is being classified either on the basis of economic activity or on the basis of organization. Lastly, it can be on the basis of ownership as well. Economic activity means what kind of economy activity are you pursuing? Are you under the primary sector predominantly, in the secondary sector or a tertiary sector? Basis of organization, organized sector or unorganized? Let's have a look what are all these. First thing first, sectors of economy. On the basis of economic activity, the sectors of economy can be classified into three portions. One is your primary, then it's your secondary, and then it's your tertiary. When I say primary consists of those sectors where the raw material is directly coming out of nature. The raw material is coming directly out of nature, like your agriculture. If I have to practice agriculture, what I need? I need land, natural resource. I need sun, again a natural resource. I need water, a natural resource. So I hope you can understand. the part of my economy if I am using the raw material which is directly from the nature, that is what I classify under the primary sector. Like after agriculture, it's your forestry, it's your hunting, it's your fishing, it's your mining as well, because in mining what am I doing? I am taking out the minerals from the ore. What is ore? A rock that has mineral in it. So what I am doing is I am taking the use of natural resource to get the activity done. So what is that? It is primary sector. I hope this is clear. Moving ahead, the secondary sector. When I say secondary sector, primary, very basic. When we say secondary, it's like automobile production. That is, what I am going to use is, whatever we have manufactured in the primary part, we are going to use it in the secondary sector, in the manufacturing part, so that those portion of things are being classified into the secondary sector or the manufacturing sector, whatever you want to say. So whenever I say secondary sector, what I am going to do is, whatever mining I have done, whatever minerals I have extracted, I am going to use that either in the automobile production or in aerospace, shipbuilding, wherever I want. Whatever agriculture I have done, whatever fruits I have got, what I am going to do it in the manufacturing part is, I am going to process those foods. I am going to make pickles out of it. So what is this? This is secondary activity. After that, what is tertiary? Very basic. What is tertiary? It is nothing but the service sector. When I say service sector, basically it's the transportation and distribution of whatever you have produced over here or here. I can either transport and distribute agriculture product as well. But then at the same time, I can look forward to the distribution of whatever automobile I have produced. Like Maruti, like Tata, they might have produced some cars. Now they have to be brought into the market. For bringing that product into the market, they might use some marketing tactics. They might use some advertisements and all. So what is this being done by? It is done by your secondary, tertiary sector, or what you say your services sector. Then tourism, insurance, banking, healthcare, legal services, all these are classified under your tertiary sector. Nowadays, tertiary sector is further classified into two things. One, you say quaternary, and then you say quinary. When I say quaternary sector is the sector where processing and transfer of knowledge takes place. That means they are primarily knowledge based sector. When I am saying your quinary sector, it is basically what you say, a decision making sector, an intellectual sector where your decision making is involved. So when I say quaternary, by that I mean a knowledge based sector. When I say quinary, it's a decision making sector. Quaternary, where the knowledge is one thing that we are looking up to. Quinary, where the decision is one thing that we are looking up to. Now I am giving you an example. A company's chief financial officer, CFO, where should I be putting him into? A quinary sector or a quaternary sector? What do you think? Pick one, quinary or quaternary. A company's chief financial officer, chief executive officer, chief technical officer, where should I be putting all these persons into? Into the decision making part or into the quaternary sector part? Quinary, very good. Why quinary? Because basically these CFO, CEO, CTO, they are playing the prime role in any business. So they are the one who are taking decision for the business. So that's why these kind of category of people, when they are enrolled in some decision making thing, they are under quinary sector. Now can you give me one example of quaternary sector, knowledge based sector? Anyone? Just one example of quaternary or the knowledge based sector. It's primarily dependent upon the knowledge that you have, that you can put it in any segment. Can I say a doctor? Can I say a chartered accountant? Am I right? Yes or no? Software engineer, cool. Very good. So I hope this is clear to you all. Yes, software developer, very good. Since we have done how are the sectors being classified on the basis of economic activity, primary, secondary, tertiary. Now let's move on to the second portion on the basis of organization. So on the basis of organization, your sectors are being primarily divided into the formal sector or what you say informal sector. Formal sector you also call by the name organized sector. Informal sector, it's also said by the name unorganized sector. When I say organized, that means the organization is to a level where you will be having something which is called as wage security, job security and social security. Because at the time of your joining, you will be given a written paper somewhere or the other. There will be some written rules out there. There will be some organized thing out there via which you can get the wage security, the job security or what you say the social security. So these are the three types of security that you get in the organized sector. But if I talk about the unorganized sector, you will get none. If at all you are getting it, that's because of the good boss that you are having. Otherwise, you will get none. Apart from this, if a worker has a formal contract with the employer, that we say is under the formal sector. If it's an established platform where your grievances will be heard, if at all you are not being provided wages at time, then there is somebody who can listen to you. That is a formal sector. Stakeholders are aware of their rights. Whatever rights you have, the stakeholders, whatever rights we have, we actually know them and we know how to get them resolved if at all we have any grievances. In that case, again, it's a feature of formal sector. Social sector net for health and life risk. This is also a part of your formal sector only. Next thing. There can be a question where they are asking you what are the features of formal sector or why should India perform formalization in the economy? Why should Indian government look forward to formalizing our economy? So at that particular time, all these points will be very helpful. Next thing. When I talk about unorganized or informal sector, worker conditions are not defined over here. You will not be knowing what about the wage security, what about the job security. Maybe, you know, one day you are working and the next day they will be kicking you out. So that's the kind of job security that I am talking about. Irregularly remuneration and uneven payment. So you might be working for so and so wage and your colleague might be working for half that wage. So what is that? That is informalization. There will be no fixed hours. And the stakeholders have poor knowledge or I would say no knowledge because there is no written contract out there. So I hope this is clear. Next thing. When I talk about informal economy, as per your ILO, in the world I am talking about, 60% of world's employed people are under the informal sector. If I talk about India, it's 90% of our workforce, roughly, of India's workforce is under the informal sector, or you can also quote it like half of our GDP is also coming from this informal sector. So that means we cannot ignore it. That is bringing in a huge amount of employment. That is also responsible for almost half of the GDP of India. So that's why this is very important that government should work forward to having having some kind of security, job, wage, whatever in the informal sector as well. And therefore, government brings about some kind of a scheme like your PM Swanidhi scheme. What is it? It is there to help those who are being left out, who don't have wage security. If a person who is on the streets, who is working in this, who is doing for this vendors and all, but then if they do not go for work for even a single day, if they are not well, they will not get the money. So to benefit them, to secure them, there are multiple schemes out there. Moving ahead, why informality is there? Now, why do you think when government provides so much benefits to those who are under the eyes of the government, if you are registered as an MSME, you will get multiple benefits. You will get the benefits of export substitution, you will get the benefit of multiple other regime. But then why do not these MSMEs want to get themselves registered? Don't you think if I'll be registered as, I'll have an Aadhaar card, let's say, if government knows that okay, a person exists via a name Lakshmi Arora, then maybe I might need a ration, I'll get it, because I am in the eyes of the government a human being who is living in its country. But then what about these MSMEs? If they do not get themselves registered, they are informal, they do not get that benefit. But then why they remain informal for so long? Why do not they get themselves registered? Reason number one, to avoid taxes, to avoid social sector contributions. If at all you are not enrolled in the government's eyes, in that case you need not go forward for some provident fund contributions and all. EPF contributions need not be done by you. Next thing, to avoid compliance, the GST compliance and all these, sometimes they feel that it is a hurdle in their business, therefore they do not get themselves registered, or they stay in the informal part only. They might be too poor to access the public or the financial services. They might be poor. They might, even they do not have that kind of an awareness how to get themselves registered, or to very basic how to get that GST pin. They do not know that as well. They are not aware about that. They still don't know that they can get themselves the GST pin, or they can get themselves enrolled in the Udyam portal themselves only. They do not need a chartered accountant or some experts for that. Next thing, they may lack education and obviously the skill for formal employment, that can also be there. So many a times people they end up doing certain kind of jobs because they do not have required amount of skill. As in the recent ILO report on India's employment report 2024, I hope you have seen this report. This report is very important and will be helpful in your answer writing as well. But then this report said that 75% of India's youth do not know how to attach a PDF or let's say some other thing to the Gmail, to the email. So they do not know how to use the email effectively. How do you think they can be enrolled or they can be employed in the world of digitization, where digitization is very, very, very important? If our youth are not skilled, they may not get, or they may not end up in a formal sector job. So I hope this is clear. Any problem? Next thing is issues with the informal firms. What are the issues? The first issue is the obstacle to achieve sustainable development. So the first and the foremost issue is they are, if government doesn't know that somebody is cutting forest for running his or her business, but then that is not in the eyes of the government. I hope you have seen that movie, what you say, Pushpa. Government didn't know that that kind of a thing is also happening, that black marketing thing is happening. I hope you have seen that movie Pushpa. In that case, you might be thinking, sustainable development we cannot look forward to in that case. Next thing, they do not contribute to the tax pool as well, because government didn't knew that a random person is actually selling the red sandalwood. Government, it's not in the eyes of the government. In that case, whatever the profit that you are getting, government will not be able to tax it. Many a times, these business houses, they get limited access to the finances. Reason being, they are not in the eyes of the government. They may not get the benefit of various government schemes out there. So therefore, limited access to finances is there. And therefore, these business generally, they remain small. They are not able to grow. Why? Because they just thought about saving taxes, but they didn't thought about giving it a thought that if they get themselves registered on some Udyam portal, or if they get themselves registered, in that case they might get some kind of relief or some hand holding from the government side as well. Next thing, they are associated with low productivity, because if you do not have required amount of finances, you will end up having low productivity. This you can ignore. Now, as I have told you, in your formal sector, be it your formal, be it your informal, three things are very common. What are they? Wage security, job security, social security, and all these are not there in your informal sector or the informal economy. Agar hai, then that is primarily because of good boss or a good organization that you are a part of. Otherwise, you will get none. When I say social security, I hope you know what I mean. I mean healthcare security. I mean the security of about the education, the security which is related to skill that the organization will be providing the basic skills if at all some new technology is being coming in the organization. Then job security, at least you know that you will not be kicked out the very next morning. So that kind of job security must be there. And the wage security, obviously we have wage code bill, the minimum wages are being prescribed, so you are not getting at least below that. So that is one thing we need to look forward to. Informal economy is any economy that is not in the eyes of the government. If you are able to get wage, job, social, then you are a formal economy. Many of the gig economy, if I say gig economy, some portion of it, there are two types of gig workers. One are the platform workers and the other are non-platform workers. When I say platform workers, they are the workers, those who are working on apps like Ola, like Uber, so on and so forth. And then there are some workers who are working on some non-platform organization, like your construction workers, they are not on some platform. But then if you are getting all these three things, you are getting social security, you are getting job security, you are getting wage security, then you will be classified under the formal sector because you are getting everything. Otherwise, construction workers, we all know who will look after their thing, then they are highly informal sector that is being prevalent. Now, what are the initiatives that are being taken by the government? See, yes, that's true that these business, they do not want to contribute taxes. This might save them a limited portion of their profit, but that tax, if it would have gone to the government's hand, government could have used it for the welfare purposes. But then if the government is not getting that, government should take some kind of initiatives. So what is government doing? Government has done labor reforms. Government has tried to bring in the gig workers, the platform workers specifically under the social security net. So for the first time under the Code on Social Security, government has for the first time defined what are gig workers, and once they have got the definition, they are surely going to get the social sector they are going to get the social security out there. So that's the case. Next thing, the eShram portal app. Via this app, all the workers, be it your platform, be it your gig, be it your construction workers, be it your migrant workers, at least a database is being created where all the unorganized sector workers, they get themselves enrolled, so that at least if at all, God forbid, another incident like COVID happen, government can actually reach out to these people. Government will have their Aadhaar numbers. At least at that particular time, we all know what was the fate of these people during the COVID days. So they can be protected. That is your eShram portal. I hope this is clear. Next thing, Udyam portal. It facilitates the registration of your MSMEs. So all the small MSMEs, they get themselves registered on this Udyam portal, and be it any kind of help or be it any kind of government schemes, if they want to get the benefit of that, they can get it via the Udyam portal only. So that is a one-stop destination for all your MSMEs. Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan. So all the unorganized sector workers who were left out of the ambit of any social sector benefit, what government did was, if you are enrolled under eShram portal, you can get the benefit of PM Shram Yogi Mandhan as well. For the scheme, do visit this scheme session. We will cover PM Shram Yogi Mandhan in the scheme part only. Next thing, PM Swanidhi, the scheme that I was talking about. It is for the street vendors. So Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs launched this scheme specifically for those who are working on the streets, who are the thelawalas and all, so that they also can get the benefit. I hope this is clear. Now the last thing is, we have talked about the economic activity, organization, and now let's talk about how is the economy classified on the basis of ownership. So the first portion is private sector or the public sector. When I say public sector, this is very simple, we all know. Public sector is publicly owned. Public sector means goods and services, they will be having a shared benefit, that is the government. Then they are funded by the taxes that we pay and other government revenue, maybe the fees that we are going to pay. We will talk about what are the various portions of revenue or how the government get the revenue. Next thing, the workers over here are the civil servants. But when I talk about the private sector, in this, it's primarily owned by the individuals or the shareholders. It provides goods and services to the individuals, businesses and other organizations. They are funded by the profits. If at all private sector is getting a profit, they can actually take loan, whatever. So they are being run by the profits or the loans that they are taking. And workers over here are employees or some contractual staff out there. So this was pretty simple. This is a question that was asked in Nabard in 2018. See, what we are going to do in the course also is, no matter any question which is being asked in any of the regulatory body portion, be it your PFRDA, IFSCA, SEBI, RBI, Nabard, I have compiled it after in between each section we are going to discuss some of the MCQs as well. Now could you please try to give me the answer to this? The question was asked in 2018. How can a free market economy be best described? So this is a pretty simple and a straightforward question. Tell me, how can we describe that? Anyone? This is very simple. At least one answer I can get. Very good. Yes, so option number A is the correct answer, because a free market economy is an economy on supply and demand. That means competition will be there and no government intervention will be there. Also we can say they follow a laissez-faire policy. I hope this is clear. Very good to all those who did answer. Now the next question is from Nabard 2022. Again, Nabard has asked questions from this segment, from the basics part. RBI has never asked, but that doesn't mean that it cannot. But then tell me the answer. Which of the following sector is not related to the service sector? Retail is not related. Retail, mining, banking, real estate, or all of the above? Yes, why not mining? Because mining we use, in mining the raw material that we are using, it's directly from the mother earth, from the nature. That is the ore that we are using in mining, it's coming directly from the nature itself. Therefore, option number B or option number 2 will be the correct answer for this question. Now guys, I do not want you that you should be scared of answer writing. This is the first class. You can submit this answer to me on my Telegram channel or on Oliveboard's Telegram channel. You can submit the answer on ESI for regulatory bodies. You can search it ESI for regulatory bodies and you will get the Telegram channel. Over this you can submit your answer. If at all you are not able to write the answer, 100 words you can write those 100 words and submit it to me. Start writing today itself. If you are attempting this 2024 exam, start writing. I know for 10 marks, ideally you should be writing 400 words. Even if you are not able to write 400, you are writing 100, 200 words, get that evaluated, one thing. Next thing, don't wait for writing a perfect answer. There is no perfect answer. Even I cannot write a perfect answer. Nobody in the world can write perfect answer. No matter if your editorial is going in Hindu, Indian Express, whatever. But no article is perfect, no answer is perfect, no content is perfect. What you have to do is just the imperfect answer, whatever answer you have written, get it evaluated. Now what is the question asking? How does India's mixed economy system contributes to its economic growth, its development, and compare it with the different economic models? You can write the answer with this. India follows a mixed economic approach, but then you only told me there are certain economies in the world, they follow laissez-faire policy, or what you say, the market-based economy. You can just compare it with it. Once you will submit me the answer, I'll check it, and if at all you want, I'll provide you with a model answer, you can say. Model, that means that is not also perfect, but yes, that can give you some of the pointers. But first thing first, you have to start writing. Next thing. Now, how can you start your answer is, briefly tell about the introduction. Now, what you will write in the introduction? Simple. Tell us what is mixed economy. In the body, briefly explain what are the features of mixed economy. Just write 3 to 4 points on this. Try attempting the answer in points itself. This I have already told you. Next thing, try to write 3-4 advantages of mixed economy, challenges of mixed economy, and at the end you can just try to compare it, like how is how is market-based economy better from our mixed economy, or how is our mixed economy better from the market-based one. So this you can compare in 2-3 points, the advantages of having mixed economy, the challenges of it, or whatever way you want to attempt the answer, you can attempt it, but do write it and submit it to me either on the Oliveboard's Telegram channel or on the ESI for regulatory body channel. I hope this is clear. Any problem up till now you can ask. In the conclusion, you can use your wisdom. Please do write it and submit it to me. That's all from my side. If at all you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll wind up the session. Any questions? Anyone? Any question? At least give me a thumbs up if you have understood. At least I should get to understand that, okay, whatever we are having, you are understanding. Okay, please type it. Because with answer writing, I also want you to type, to get that knowledge of how to type and what not. If someone of you is facing a problem or a issue, देखो, type करना not from the laptop's keyboard. Take another keyboard. If you are having a laptop, don't type it on the laptop's keyboard. That is one suggestion that I can give, because the keyboard that is of that is available at the centers, they are quite hard. So you know, pressing them will require some certain kind of effort. What you can do is you can purchase. It's not very costly. 200-250 rupees keyboard will be there. A basic keyboard. You need not have that fancy keyboards out there. Buy a basic keyboard. Start typing. But each time you are submitting it to me, please type it. Now, where to write it? Either you can start writing on Word or Notepad, wherever you are comfortable. You can pick one and then you can start writing. Abhinav, for that, for answer writing and note making thing, you can watch the previous videos out there on the session. And if at all you have any specific query, I'll solve it. Deepak, this is not the new lecture series, this is the platform series that is already going on. Anything else you want to ask? So guys, now to all those who are new to the session, if you want to get the complete course of this RBI, you can go to the Oliveboard section, and on the regulatory body session, either you can purchase all cracker course, you will get every course, because after tomorrow, I don't think so these classes will be there on YT, they will be shifted to the platform itself. Next thing, you can get yourself enrolled in the new batch that is out there, the phase 1, phase 2 batch, or only the phase 1 batch, whatever you want. So you can just enroll in the batches from here. You can just see, and also you can use the code. 42% off is there. You can just use the code. And for the notes, I am just telling you, if you want, you can definitely prepare notes. For notes, I would specifically say, take one piece of paper and let's suppose you are making notes for informal economy. Now, because today we are studying informal economy, let's suppose 3-4 days after this, or maybe somewhere down the lane 2 months after, we get a report specifically for unemployment in the informal sector or something like that. So you must have a copy maintained with you where you can write about some stats which are important and which will be helpful in your answer writing as well as your essay writing. So you should definitely maintain a copy where you are writing quotes, some if at all you come across a quote which you can use it somewhere, so you can write it over there. So that's how you should ideally maintain your notes. Anything else? Okay, then let's meet tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be starting up with the next portion. But yes, after tomorrow's class, we will straight away jump to the portion which is directly given in your RBI syllabus. But then again, without knowing what is economics, what are some of the theories of economics, we should not ideally jump to the main portion. After tomorrow's class, whatever is there, it's going as per the title which is given in your syllabus itself. So that's all from my side. I hope you like the session. If you have liked it, and if you want a preparation which is standardized, or you can say that you have everything about it, so you can just join the course. Either phase 1 if you want, or if you want both the courses for phase 1, phase 2 live, then you can enroll in this. That's all from my side. Thank you and have a nice day.